Welcome to Book Club no Kiseki. I am Sam Allman.
I'm David Bernard Hauk.
And I'm Matt, dramatic pause, Jorgensen.
And the portion of Falcom's Kiseki series that we'll be re-recording today is the third chapter of Kevin Game, Trails in the Sky the Third, entitled Golden Road, Silver Road. That's right. We recorded this episode about a week ago, and technical difficulties. And instead of fixing those difficulties, which is hard, we're re-recording, which is easy. But before we get to all of that, K-Pasa, kid.
Oh, man, you already did that one.
I did that one on this episode.
I know.
I didn't get to hear. Do you want me to do another one?
It's not fresh for me.
Okay. Let's get Bernard a new one.
Yeah, I need a new one.
But before we get to all of that, what's kicking, chicken?
Thank you. I just had a job interview. It went well.
Good.
I'm not going to say more about it.
Cool. What about you, Matt?
I played a couple of video games. One of them was Kirby. It's real good.
Kirby's real good.
Kirby's real good. He is the goodest Nintendo blob.
Yeah, I was prepared to only like Kirby a little bit because the Polygon review was like in a game about like finding all of the surprises. It became not fun to explore in the second half, and I was like, well, whatever. It's a GameFly game for me, so it's not going to be like a waste or anything. So I'll just play and have fun. And the Polygon review was wrong. It's fantastic, and it's fantastic the entire way through. And there's beautiful surprises that happen consistently. I don't know what they were talking about, saying that it wears out its welcome. It's
Can't
fantastic.
believe the SJWs at Polygon are trying to cancel Kirby.
But I really like the part halfway through where he takes off his shoes and he has realistic human feet. It's the best part of the game.
No, I hate it. No. The only other thing, and I don't think I talked about it last time or recently, but Metal Max Xeno Reborn is coming to the West.
I feel like you have said it. But people should play it anyways.
I'm really interested in it. I've never played a Metal Max. I kind of want to go back and play all the Metal Maxes, but I don't have time to do literally anything other than podcasts.
You could do the speed run of Metal Max Returns for the bowed route because it takes 5 minutes.
That sounds like a good option.
Yeah, I've had such a hard time coming to terms with the fact that like it's okay to not play games, and I should just like as a whole just be like, you know what, I'm not going to play any of the Sega Genesis RPGs. Like there's only a handful of them. I know I'm missing out on a couple of them, but I'm just going to like ignore that thing of it so I can focus on just the ones that I like, because I already get analysis paralysis because I have so many games at my fingertips, but it's creeped up to a increased version of like, but like I have to use my free time correctly. And if I don't, the fucking judges from Final Fantasy Tactics will just storm in and be mad at me for leisuring incorrectly. But it's like, oh, I haven't played any of the Metal Max games. Is that what I do today? Or do I go and watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer that I've never finished? Or should I read the Mistborn books because I love the rest of Brandon Sanderson so much? What do I do with leisure? How do I relax? And I've been trying to train myself to just say fuck it and replay Wild Arms 5. So
nice.
I started Wild Arms 5 over again last night on the Batocera in the living room, which is weird because Summer was playing Bratz Forever Diamonds, I think. It might be Bratz the movie. I don't remember which one it is, but it starts with a skydiving sequence, and we could not get that to run at 60 frames a second if our life depended on it. We put it all the way down to 480p. We did the render resolution as 480p and put it in like a more natural HD video. Like, we did all the different tricks to try and get it, and we couldn't do it. So I was prepared for Wild Arms 5 to run like garbage because it looks infinity better than Bratz the movie does. But I was able to run it at like 3 times native resolution, and it ran at 60 frames a second. It like had a little hiccup when battle would start, but that was it, and it ran really good. So I love that for me. I love video games. Video games are good, and I especially love video games about cowboys that are made out of anime.
I'm looking at this Bratz the Movie PS2 game, and it doesn't have particularly good graphics.
It does not.
Me and Bernard were doing the same thing. I'm like, wait a minute.
Dude, this picture does have a cute dog.
Yeah, the Bratz PS2 games. The Bratz PS2 games are real good, but yeah, not graphically intensive. So don't know why it like ran so poorly that Summer got tired of even trying to play it and gave up and played something else. And yet,
maybe it's like just poorly optimized.
Yeah, maybe it's poorly optimized. Maybe it has some like incompatibility that nobody cares about because everyone that's emulating PS2 games is doing it for like the RPGs and the Jacks and the Daxters. Mm-hmm. So
that's the one I had. That reminded me of the fact that my sister got Mary, Kate, and Ashley Magical Mystery Mall on the PlayStation original. I played that game to completion.
Yeah, one of my unironically favorite Game Boy games is Mary Kate and Ashley Get a Clue. It's real good.
Oh man, Bratz the Movie, the game has Yuri Lowenthal in it.
I think he's in every single PS2 game because he plays Dean Stark in Wild Arms 5, and he plays Haseo, and he plays Sasuke in all of the Ninja Storms, and he's in Bratz the Movie, the video game, and I think he's the main character in Disgaea 2 as well. He's every character.
I'd feel weird saying who it is, but I had a friend in college who was a successful voice actor, and I was like, that's really cool, you're a successful voice actor. But I fell out of touch with her a long time ago. But now she is in like literally every video game I play. Like, I was playing like any game I play it, and some character shows up, and I'm like, is that her? And I check, and it's her. And it freaks me out. Good for her.
Yeah. I remember discussing this with you back in college about what her big break was, and it was quite a big break. So I am not very surprised that she is now in everything.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if you want to figure out who that is, you can stalk me and Bernard and figure out who all of our friends are in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of none of these things, besides, I mean, technically voice acting, mine has voice acting. Let's talk about the Kevin game. So as usual, our chapter starts with a flashback about Kevin and Rufina and Reese as children. Kevin is having a bad dream about his mother, but we only get to see little snippets. Like he says, I'm sorry I failed you as a mother, ... At least this way we can, ... before Kevin bolts upright in bed. He mutters to himself that he's had that dream again, and he's worrying that he's upsetting Rufina. Reese is nearby and is like, don't worry, you're upsetting all the time. And they scuffle back and forth. Today is apparently Rufina's last day at wherever the fuck they are, and she's going to leave to become a Squire Grossritter. She's doing extra prayers at her chapel because she won't be able to pray from there for a while, so she wants to load up extra prayers before she leaves, as if she's not going to the Vatican to become a pope, where you could just pray there, but whatever. Then there's a lengthy sequence where the game doesn't let you forget that she mama birded chocolate into Kevin's mouth 5 years ago, and everyone present is super weird about it.
In a different way.
Yeah. It was upsetting enough that it happened, but the fact that it goes out of its way to remind you that it happened every chapter so far is pretty fucking weird.
I wonder if Rufina just brings this up every day.
Like, yes, I get it. I know. Kevin and Reese don't want Rufina to leave to be a squire, but she's really good at it, and so she wants to use her aptitudes to help people because she's a good person, and we already know that she died tragically, so it's just twisting the knife. She promises to come home if she's not cut out for it, and the flashback ends. Back in the present, we open up our party member Pokeball that we got at the tail end of last week, and out comes not one, but 2 lights. And we're like, what the fuck? Who's the extra character? But the extra character is Sieg. It's not an extra party member. It's just Best Bird. And the
Sieg
other person
should be a party member.
That would be dope. And where there is Sieg, there is, of course, Chloe. So we espouse at Chloe and tell her all the plot so far, and she of course offers to help us however she can. We heal up and get items, etc., and then make our way to the 3rd plane to whatever awaits us there. And what awaits us there, you ask? Jack and shit. It is
The Jack Road and the Shit Road.
Yeah. So when Kevin rolls up, he's like, "Oh, we got to be prepared for whatever this is." And we walk through the door, and there's 2 roads. There's a gold road and a silver road, and we have to take both of them at the same time. So we have to split up our party into 4 member parties. And last week, when we recorded this the first time, I asked everybody who they took, but that now was 3.5 weeks ago that we all played it. So we had trouble remembering last time. So I know we don't remember it all this time. But
I will say I didn't think things through very well and ended up putting all my ranged attackers in one party, which was pretty great for that party. But when I got to the other party, I didn't have any ranged attackers.
Yeah. The 2 when we see the 2 roads, the ghosty girl that we saw on the roof of the castle shows up and reveals herself that she has been the spooky voice that we've been hearing the whole time. I, of course, knew it because mine is voice acted, but in y'all's game, this is where it's confirmed that it was her. And so Kevin takes his group and Reese takes her group, and the game asks you who you want to be first. I am going to follow Reese first because that's what the LP does that I'm using to follow along with. Both of them are basically the exact same, so it's not that big of a deal which one you do first. So in the first little room of each road, the party runs into a monster from folklore. So like, oh, it's not just demons and shit. It's also folklore things. Reese runs into Grim Reapers and Kevin runs into goblins. Then you do a dungeon that's not even long. And at the end of it, or at the halfway mark, you find a weapon. And Reese's weapon is a Templar sword called the something or other. So I'm not sure. But she finds a Templar sword and she seems to recognize it. And the party's like, what's with your face? Like, what is it? And she's like, oh no, surely it's not, it's nothing. It's just a cool ass sword. We'll just go from here. And Kevin finds one of his crossbows and he's like, what the hell is this? And similarly, he's like, oh, nothing. It's just a cool crossbow. I'm not weirded out about this thing showing up. And so then you make your way all the way to the end. And on Reese's side, she sees Kevin show up and start fighting the party with 4 tanks, basically, with him. And then you have a boss fight against Kevin. But it's, of course, not actually Kevin. It is some demon construct thing that you fight. I'm sorry, it's 5 tanks that he fights with. And this one was a really hard fight.
I'm really glad you corrected yourself because I knew it was 5. I didn't want to correct you over something so petty and insignificant, but it was just burning me up.
Yeah. Because it has that one has to be 5 because the other one is 4 because it has to be 2 of each. So this one is 5.
Yes. Both these fights pretty hard. I think I got both of them on my second try. But it was hard.
Yeah, I thought I would be okay because I balanced. I don't remember my exact team, but I remember I tried to balance it, and it wasn't fun. It was bad.
Yeah. Kevin himself has like 4 phases, and so the first phase is Kevin, then you get his health all the way down, and then he's like Crystal Kevin, and then you get his health all the way down, and then he's just one of the little crystal mobs.
And dies in like 1 hit.
Yeah. Oh, I remember the worst part about this. Phantom Kevin still has Kevin's S-Craft, so he can make all of himself and all the tanks immune to all damage. So you have to continually like waste a spell to hit all of them to get them out of being blocked, so that you can then send in somebody that hits hard. And my Reese party was accidentally crappy because I was trying to balance everything out, but I balanced it out off of rolls and not off of ones that I've actually used and put time and effort into their orbment and equipment. So the ones that she had were all like the B team. So this one was very difficult for me. I think I got it in 1, but it was one of those things where it's like, should I just let him hit me and take it, retry at an easier one, or try and get out of the JRPG spiral? And I decided to get out of the spiral, and I ended up coming back and winning. But it was very difficult. Kevin, of course, sees, instead of seeing himself, he sees Reese and her mobs on that she fights with. She has 4 mirrors, 2 of which are immune to physical attack and 2 of which are immune to magic attack. And
not just immune, they reflect them.
Yeah,
because they're mirrors.
Yeah, and this one was hard because they hit hard, but not hard like strategically. So you just had to be good enough to not die, and you would take them down.
I'm pretty sure I had Tita in my party for this one. Yes, because it was my Kevin party and I had all my ranged attackers in one place. So I did have Tita here. And I would be trying to shoot Reese, but Reese would be standing next to a mirror that reflects physical, so I couldn't shoot her. It was really annoying.
That's
Otherwise Tita would get owned, and Tita doesn't have a lot of HP.
After each of the fights, both characters are thrilled that it wasn't, they didn't actually have to fight the other person. Reese takes it a lot harder than Kevin does. She falls to the ground panting, thank God it wasn't Kevin. Thank God I didn't have to kill Kevin today. And it's it was pretty obvious. Kevin's not the type to show up with demons to fight you, but okay, whatever, Reese. So you make it out of the gate and you reunite the parties, and everyone asks each other questions that only they could know to make sure that they're the real deal. And Reese mentions that they must have been why can't I fucking say that word? Grimoires?
It's a hard word to say.
It really is.
Grimoire. Got it in one.
Nice. They're apparently a type of fiend that's mentioned in the Testaments, but they're said to be what souls eventually turn into after being thrown into hell, which is dark.
Upsetting.
Very.
You just stay in hell so long, you become, I think they call it a lump of spirit or something that doesn't make sense like that.
Yeah.
And it's just very upsetting that you get tortured for eternity and end up losing your soul. I don't like it.
I don't like it either. So Reese says, how they did it, I don't know, but it seems our enemies have quite literally opened the gates of Gehenna, which is hell in Kiseki speak. And then our totally not layaway Final Fantasy Dissidia NT character, Swartzritter, shows up and says that he's impressed about how quickly we've progressed, even though we have a significant amount of, quote, the Hermit's guidance, which is apparently the ghosty lady. He says that she's a spirit that was left behind in Phantasma, as well as the master of the Hollow Garden, which is our home base area. He says that his lord took most of her power, so she can't really do much else besides guide us. And Kevin's just like, hey, you're being cryptic, and I don't really understand what the fuck you're saying, but if that means that she's our ally, then cool. We're going to stop you from doing whatever it is you're trying to do, summoning all these demons and shit. So Schwartzritter replies, your next destination is the path of beasts. Devour the new offering presented to you and display your seal once more. Then shall the flames of Gehenna burn ever fiercer and my kingdom draw closer to its true completion. Kevin starts laughing and Reese is like, what's the matter? And he goes, sorry, I couldn't help but laugh. Tell me, what sad classes did you and that joke of a boss you got take to get your certifications on how to be a big bad? Nice touch trying to convince us by spewing that cryptic bullshit too. I bet you thought we'd keep ourselves up all night trying to figure that out. Your overblown theatrics make it too obvious that it's fake, you think? And then he pulls out his gun and he shoots at Schwartzritter, who then is he's like, fuck you then. I'm outie. It seems that you aren't too fond of the gift that we gave you, implying the weapons that they found. And he teleports away, and that's it. That we don't even have a boss. We just
They do spend a bit of time being like, what does his cryptic message mean? And Julia's like, who fucking knows?
She's like, it doesn't fucking matter. We only have one way forward. Like, we're in a long hallway. We're just going to keep going forward and see what happens.
This is Final Fantasy 13. You don't understand shit, so you just walk forward. We're in a Final Fantasy 13 here.
And also kind of just life, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the end of the chapter. When we beat Fake Reese and Fake Kevin, we did get party member stones. So we'll see next week who are in them. But for now,
I started the next chapter and I know who's in them, and brace yourselves.
Ooh, interesting. But for now, let's hop on into our Star Door and watch Estelle eat a lot of food.
Yeah. They took out the towns where you walk around and talk to a million NPCs in this game. So I'm guessing there are a few Star Doors like this one where they want to put that in just so the localization team can't take too much of a break.
Yeah, no. Yeah, Brittany was like, oh, cool, there aren't towns, I don't have to do as much. Let me go and make there be twice as many chest messages because they update in this fucking game. This week, we only have one door, and it's Star Door number 3, entitled The Banquet. This door requires Joshua and Chloe, and it covers the events of a thank you banquet that Queen Alicia throws for the heroes of second chapter. When it starts, there's a special edition of the Liberal News that basically just sums up what happened last game, but more from the perspective of the civilians, and mentions the orbital shutdown phenomenon, which crippled the country for a few days. And so people are starting to question relying on the ordnance as much.
Was it a few days or was it more like a month?
I don't remember. I wrote a few days, but a month feels right. I'm not sure how long
you keep going. I'll Google orbital shutdown phenomenon and see what nonsense I find.
But both here in the Liberal News and some of the NPCs we talked to, it implies that, yeah, y'all went and saved the world off screen up in the flying city or whatever, but the average person dealt with none of our ordnance are working, and that's the big hullabaloo, and that is almost more important to the country as a whole than the fucking Sky Dungeon was.
So the Kiseki wiki page for the orbital shutdown phenomenon is one sentence long and does not say how long it lasted. It literally just says, the orbital shutdown phenomenon was a man-made phenomenon in which all orbital power was stopped throughout Liberl and the southern part of Erebonia.
Or how long? You could have just added a clause to that sentence and kept it one sentence long, but just answered our fucking question.
I'll Google orbital shutdown phenomenon. How long?
How long to beat the orbital shutdown phenomenon?
Speed run the orbital shutdown phenomenon.
The newspaper also has a bit on Chloe's coronation and how she immediately went to meet with Olivier and healed relations between Liberal and the Empire, and talks about how she's going to be a great leader, et cetera, et cetera.
Man, remember how good that scene was?
Man, it was so freaking good. It's such a highlight of that game, which has been a highlight of the series so far.
Which has been a highlight of my life so far.
It's true. But the most important thing in the newspaper is the fact that it thanks the Bracers specifically for the work that they did and includes a picture of Estelle and Joshua about fucking time. We worked so hard for 2 whole games for everyone else to take the credit. We cut to Niall and Dorothy, who we all love and have missed dearly, and they're coming into Grand Soul. Dorothy is nearly collapsing from hunger because she starved herself for 30 hours so that her stomach would be empty so that she could eat more fancy food. Because who hasn't wanted to just gorge themselves on free rich people stuff?
Yeah, big move right there, Dorothy.
Have y'all ever fasted for that long?
I have not.
It's not that bad.
Yeah.
Like, after the first, 24 hours, it gets, easier.
Wild. So what you're saying is Dorothy is a wuss and needs to try harder.
I don't know.
So at the banquet, Queen Alicia thanks everyone involved in the plot of the first 2 games for being involved in the plot, and Chloe makes sure to thank all of the NPCs and not just the party because they were important too. Estelle and Joshua are eating together, and he gets to openly flirt with her for the first time, and it's super cute. Gamely reminder that they are not actually brother and sister. They only lived together for about 5 years, and Joshua looks up to Cassius as a father figure, but have not lived as brother and sister their whole life. Though they have the same, it's fine.
It's fine.
Estelle runs off to enjoy the buffet, and Joshua goes to mingle, and we get to talk to every major NPC from the first 2 games except for Jill, which sucks.
Remind me who Jill is. Is
she's our girlfriend from the college.
I love her.
She's great, but she is not in this one. I'm hoping that Chloe will have another one that will have Jill in it. There are a whole lot of really great scenes, but almost all of them boil down to, man, that sure was crazy. Yep, I'm just going to take things easy and relax now that everything is peaceful and we don't have to worry about a 3rd game starting anytime soon. But some of the more notable conversations is you go to talk to Richard and he's been pardoned. And because he is an emo anime boy, he says that he doesn't deserve to be pardoned and he should be made an example of. But instead of putting himself back in prison or anything like that, he's going to take his I don't deserve to be pardoned energy and use it to better himself. To instead of being an example of punitive justice, he's going to be an example of restorative justice, which is really cool. So
also, in his defense, he was being mind controlled.
Absolutely. That's why he's being a little emo boy about no, I should be in jail forever, even though we have proof that I didn't do it. So we turn to Almathea and we're like, oh, cool. What are you up to? And she's like, fuck you. Why are you even talking to me? The only reason I helped you last game is because Richard asked me to. If I could do anything, I would kill you on the spot. Fuck you. And it's amazing.
She's fun.
I love her. So Estelle and Josette have an eating contest to prove who's the most girly, which makes about as sense as it sounds, but it's hilarious.
I love them both.
After you finish mingling, Joshua makes his way over to Chloe, and the two have a lengthy conversation. Chloe tells Joshua straight up that she loves him, and he's like, and she's like, I know that you're taken. I don't expect you to reciprocate. I just wanted to be honest about my feelings so that we could get past it or whatever. She then asks Joshua what's on his mind because he seems troubled too. And he says that he's planning on leaving Liberal for a while. He doesn't feel like a broken doll anymore, but his newfound humanity unfortunately makes him super remorseful about all of the fucking killing he's done his whole life. So he wants to travel the continent atoning for all that he's done, but he hasn't figured out how he's going to tell Estelle just yet. Chloe says to just tell her because secrets don't make friends. And right at that point, Estelle comes back from her eating contest, and Joshua starts to tell Estelle his plan, but then the fireworks go off and they have a little romantic scene as the sequence ends. And that's it. It's the only side content available to us this week. Because we get so many new characters and the upcoming chapters have a whole lot of doors, I thought about playing ahead and getting extra doors, but then I didn't do that. So let's talk about our memoms and finish up this short-ass episode for the week.
I found the full text of the special edition of the Liberal News, and I can't find... I've been scanning it. I can't find any reference to how long the orbital shutdown phenomenon lasted, unless I'm just an idiot.
Yeah, it might have been one of the NPCs at the banquet that actually said the line, and I was blending them together.
Oh, maybe.
Whomst knows?
Google doesn't know. I've been Googling orbital shutdown phenomenon how long and not getting results. I like to think it was a while.
Yeah.
Memorable moments.
Memorable moments.
I like Gisette and Estelle. I like how Estelle takes Gisette's goggles when she wins the eating contest.
Oh yeah, I forgot to bring that up. That we get the reason why Gisette, instead of having goggles, has a visor this game is because Estelle has her goggles with her wherever the fuck she is, which is amazing.
I think one of us said last time that when Estelle shows up, she should totally have the goggles on.
It would be amazing. I would guffaw. And there's a chance because Joshua has his third outfit in this game, so Estelle could have a third outfit as well.
Mm-hmm.
Fingers crossed. What about you, Matt? You've been kind of quiet. What do you got?
My mem is the same as last time. Like, I had a day off. I got up early so I could get through the whole game. It's like, had to get up at 7 to take the dog out anyway. It's like, all right. By the time I'm done, Rebecca will be home and we'll have a nice night. It'll be great. And it was like 10 o'clock. I was like, oh, that was it? Well, now what do I do with the rest of my day?
Sort of nice after how dense the last two games were. We've had a slightly more digestible game to play. And I'm sure once we get to the Crossbell arc, things will be buck wild again. So
yeah. And it helps that Crossbell comes out in September, and we had I think 8 episodes worth of time to make up to get to that point. And we've had quite a few delays since the last I ran those numbers. So us taking it slow is just us padding out the time to be able to dive right into Crossbell when it comes out. Mm-hmm. So short episodes, especially because we have 3, sometimes 4 podcast episodes a week to do. So this one being easy, I am all for.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't have any particular memoms that I didn't just weave in. I do like all of the little vignettes at the banquet. It's really great checking in on everybody and seeing how they are, but none of them really stick out besides Olivier is great and Shara is great and Cassius is great always. Oh, one I did bring up last time that I thought was great is when you try to talk to Tita and Agate, they are too busy to talk to you because they're planning when Agate is going to go and meet Tita's parents. which, as we know, goes poorly for him from Tita's moon door. So
They're planning for when he meets his parents, by which they're consulting with a lawyer to write his will.
yeah. But yeah, I think that's it. There's not a whole lot of stuff we can milk out of this episode besides just reading all of the lines to you, which probably wouldn't even have taken the hour that we normally take. So I guess we will just call it early and have a short little episode. And then next week it'll be a little bit bigger, and the week after that it'll be gigantic. So I think that'll do it. So if you haven't been listening to the main series, you might not have heard that we have overhauled how the Ko-Fi works. We now have membership tiers, which are basically just now you can pay more and get extra. We didn't take anything away from anyone because that's rude and we don't want to do that. So so the $1 tier, which is just any donation as it was before, you get all of the stuff. So you get these episodes a month before everybody else. You get to vote on the polls. You get green text in the Discord. You get our undying love and devotion. That's still $1. But then if you upgrade it to $5 a month, like how Cerebral Win, Anthony Lerma, Vimk, Jfro Prime, Eli Bergmas, Doho, and Tuxedo Kin did, we will read off your name at the end of each episode. But then if you donate at a $20 a month level, we will do a plug for whatever you want. So if you want to advertise your Twitch stream or your Twitter or a game you're working on, or in the case of Carr, our first luminary, he is a dentist, so he wants to remind you to brush your teeth twice a day, most importantly at night before you go to bed. So that is his plug, and you can help make us plug whatever you want to by donating at the $20 tier on our Ko-Fi. Other than that, I think that's everything I need to talk about for this week. For Book Club no Kiseki, I have been Sam Allman.
I've been David Bernard Houck.
And I've been Climactic Pause, Matt Jorgensen.
Adios, amigos.
Go brush your teeth.
Go brush your teeth.
Go brush my teeth.